that are telling you that, oh, this is weird or different or dare I say hard or difficult or challenging. But it's interesting then what you want to, how you examine that, because then it's like how you kind of walk through your life. Like when things are difficult and challenging and different and interesting, how do you handle that? How do you approach and respond and soften and get still and recognize that again we can handle hard things, especially when we are together and we sort of try to unite. And that's what the word yoga means. It's the actual Sanskrit word of yoga means to connect, to join together. That yoke, that's what it means, to use or to join together. Um, and so when things get difficult, recognizing that you are not alone in the story, in the journey, that you have your own personal tools that you cultivate through this practice, meditation, your own movement practices or exercise or music or dance. Those are the things that build you up, that help support you. And then you go to your community, right? And so this is a community class. Money that you've donated today will go to the Wharton United Community Church, their food pantry, which has been feeding the summer camp all summer, which I thought was great. Your blocks and mats have come from the Vision Loss Alliance of Denville. So they'll get a little bit of funds too at the end of the summer because they donated these props, which is great. And then hopefully some of the funds will go to opening a studio space here in Wharton so we can continue to grow our community. If not, we might be in a church at the, down on Church Street for some winter classes, maybe, because it's going to get cold outside. We can't be outside in the cold because it's already wet. And so the snow won't help. Okay, so I am Melissa. Again, this is Arnaldo, and we are Light and Soul, and we are welcoming a friend online. Not a huge community, but a friend online today. We like to offer some online classes for those who can't get here. But we'll start in a seat, which is where you are. And so get yourself, dare I say, comfortable. It's hard to get comfortable when you're on the hard ground. You can sit on a block, put your butt on that. If that feels a little precarious, you might come off. You can choose to sit in any which way. Your legs do not have to be crisscross. They do not have to be in any sort of shape that matches your neighbor's, but it's a way where you can sit that you feel as grounded, meaning your hips are down, and as sort of lifted as possible, sort of in both of those ways. And then you can close down your eyes. I mean, that's an option, but if that doesn't feel comfortable right now and you want to sort of stay oriented to your space, you might turn your gaze downward or sort of down towards the earth or the mat in front of you. That helps to soften and still you just a little bit. And today I don't have my harmonium. We took another car. So my beautiful organ is not with me today. I feel a little naked without it, truthfully. And so you'll have to listen and sort of invite in the sound of your own breath. And you don't have to change it. You don't have to manipulate the breathing. You breathe naturally. That's what we do. And how grateful we are for that. But you might notice it a bit. You might notice if you want to take a deeper in breath, like a full inhale right here, filling up belly, lungs, chest, and then almost like a sigh out of an exhale that softens and lets everything go. And if that worked, you might do it again. Yeah, you might do it again. And with every breath in, you'll sort of start to re-regulate or go back into a more natural rhythm of breath, of heart. And then you can certainly take in the sounds around you. You know, we're here outside. You will hear the birds, the cars, the people. You will feel the bugs in the grass. And that also may be challenging. So notice that. And with everything that you're experiencing, take it in as part of this yoga. And take it all in. And then at the start of this practice, our practice today, you might choose to set an intention, and we sort of move with a purpose. Your intention can be a dedication for someone or something outside of yourself. Your intention might be a way to place your energy or your breath, or really just to focus your movements. Today, your intention might be to breathe and to stay with it, and that's okay too. And because this is how I typically start practice, the sound of Om, this unifying sound, it's the sound of the universe. It brings us together. It will today connect our intentions. You'll hear one sound of Om, and you might listen. This is the first time you've ever heard it, or if it's new or different to you, you might hum along or join along, or feel into the vibration, your choice. But either way, we'll begin together on an inhale, together breathing in. Om. And then if your eyes were closed here in your seat, you'll start to blink them open and reorient yourself to the space. So look around you and notice where you are, feel down into where you are. And if you're comfortable in your seat right here, you can stay. You can stay directly in your seat if you're on a block or sitting direct down on your hips. And very slowly, you'll start to move your head around. So let's get the head involved first. You'll look side to side. Notice what's going on in your neck. And then you can then start to drop your chin down. And so the chin might touch the chest. You might stay there for a moment, feel what's happening in the back of the neck. And then the lift up comes from the lift of the center of the chest. So there's almost a lifting, right up from the front body to drop the head back, maybe even peek up at the sky. And then you'll keep going. And so you might go side to side, and then down and up. Or you might take this into some circles. And so your head can kind of circumvent around just a bit if that feels good. But again, notice that when you lift the chin, there's also a lift in the chest to support the drop back of the head, so you're not crunching in the low back. And if you are in a seat that feels a little bit unstable or not comfortable, you can always switch it. You can always switch your seat. Keep going in this way just for another few moments. And then you'll start to get the shoulders involved. And so you can stop moving the head unless you kind of want to get the head still involved, and let the shoulders come up to the ears and drop down. The arms might move with it. You can do one at a time. You can do two at a time. See what's going on there. And if there's any movement or spot you want to stop in, then you stop and feel what's happening on that side of the neck and this shoulder and that shoulder. Yeah. And then keep moving just another moment or so right here. And then you'll pause your movement, breathe in, and start to float the arms out and up. And so you'll lift the arms as much as it feels comfortable for your shoulders, right? So if you need a wider V up overhead, then take a wider V. If it feels better to lift the fingers high, then do that. Give yourself a breath in. And then drop your right hand down to the side and then take a side lean. Oh yeah, he's gonna not mirror you. And so really it doesn't matter. I might say right and left. The good thing is you have two sides. And so you'll just go the other way on the other side. Good. And then as you sit up, turn that way for a twist. So you're turning your body towards your right for a twist. And let the hands lower. Let the hands lower. One hand will kind of come down in front. of your body. The other hand will maybe drop back behind your body. And Arnaldo will be seated for most of this practice, doing everything that I'm saying, just doing what I tell him to do. Beautiful. So you're in a seated twist here. You got it. Beautiful. And then let's rotate back to center. So you'll face forward again, lift your arms, breathe here. And then drop the other arm down the side of the body and take a side lean. So your fingertips touch the floor and you're reaching up and over your head. Keep the hips grounded. Can you keep both of your sitting bones down onto the ground as you stretch and reach and lengthen? And then as you breathe, sit yourself up and turn your body in that direction for a twist. Yeah, and so the hands drop down, one in front of your mat or at your knee and the one behind you. You start to roll or move your torso around a bit. You got it. And then come back to center. So rotate back through center and then switch the crossing of your legs. And if they were not crisscrossed, then wriggle them out a bit. You might shake your knees or roll your ankles. Notice if you need a little movement through your hips. And then you'll recross, right? You'll go back into a cross if that works for you. And you might be in the opposite cross. Okay, so we'll do that again. We'll add some things. As you inhale, reach up. As you exhale, you'll drop your right hand down and lean over to the side. And then your top arm, the one that's sort of hanging out up here, you'll reach it back behind you towards the parking lot. Maybe even look back and then start to take some circles. So the arm will come down and around. I want you to really find your range of movement here. It might be big, it might be small, as if you're trying to like touch all of the landscape around you, right? So in front of you and behind you, and you might use your gaze to follow your hands, but I don't want you to get dizzy. So don't get dizzy as you're moving. Yeah, and if you need to soften and sort of bend the elbow a bit, you can do that. Another way to kind of get into the shoulder would be to touch fingertips to the shoulder. We're going to do that too later. And then you'll slowly sit yourself upright and lower the hand. Whew. So we're working into shoulders today. You'll again reach up. We'll do this whole thing on the other side. Take the left fingers down and lean over to the side. And now you're here. Your top arm, the one that's lifted, you'll reach it back behind you. You might even look back there, open the front of the shoulder, and then make your circles. And again, as if you're trying to touch every sort of space around you, all around in your space bubble. And the elbow can bend, your head can travel with it. You can also go as slow as you need. You can go as slow as you need. Notice if you've clenched your jaw in this movement, maybe unclench your jaw, because ow, that probably isn't going to help. And then you'll slowly stop and pick yourself upright. Woo, unroll your shoulders here. Beautiful. And then let's come to all fours. So you'll get off of your block. You'll put your hands and knees down onto the mat. And you can face forward here. And then you'll grab your block. I want you to find it because I think everyone has one, right? Nope. I told you to give everybody one block. Okay, so everyone's going to get a block. Nope, I didn't want you to do that. And you're going to sort of like palm your block. It's going to be on its lowest level. You got it right there at the front of your mat. And you're going to put your palms onto the sides of the block, and the pinky edges of your hands are going to be on the floor, so your thumbs are facing up. And your elbows and forearms end up on the ground. And from here, you might need to walk your knees slightly back. And then notice directly if you sort of sunk the belly and chest down, right? If you just kind of went soup, can you push into the mat and lift the center of the chest up a little bit? You got it. Yeah, so your knees are on the ground. Your knees are on the ground. You got it. Another breath in. Stay here and continue to push down onto the ground as you push into the block with your hands. Nice. And so now you can stay here, or you have another option. To do this, you might need to walk the knees slightly back. You can walk the elbows slightly forward, pick the block up towards the sky, and push into the block here. Your knees are a little bit too far back. Yeah. You got it. Yeah, you got it. I see it. Yeah, I see it. You got it. That's it. That's it. Yeah, and it's intense. You guys got it. That's it. So continue to push into the block. Can you keep your navel lifted to your spine? Can you also keep the low back sort of less rounded, more, yeah, really nice here, like flat. Breathe in. And then very slowly, you'll lower the block down. And then you might sit back. So you can come back onto your hands and knees a bit and pause. Notice what you feel in the shoulders. Because we're gonna do one more little shape. This time, you'll take your fingers spread wide and the L shape of each of your hands, so your first finger and your thumb, are gonna come around the block. Your palms are gonna come onto the mat and your block will sort of land in the L shape of your thumbs. Now, we are on a grass, so it's a little bit unusual here, right? So you're not necessarily pushing firm down. And then can you wrap your inner elbows in and put your elbows down onto the ground? So it's the same shape, you've just now put your palms on the ground. You got it. And stay as you are right here. Yeah. So then I'm gonna give you another option right here. You might push your hands onto the ground, tuck your toes under, and start to pick your knees up just a bit. So your hips do lift, your knees are lifted, and you're here almost in this sort of forearm down dog situation. Your legs do not have to straighten. But can you continue to push your elbows? Yeah, onto the mat. Another breath. You got it. And then very slowly lower the knees. Sit yourself back up and pause. So you can come either onto your knees, or you can stay on all fours, or you can sit your hips to your heels for a moment. Okay, and so now move your block and leave it just to the side of your mat, right to the side, somewhere at the front of your mat. And now let's stay in all fours. So you're in a tabletop shape, palms and knees, where most of you are, right here. And then you'll start a few rounds of cat and cow. And for the poses here, the cow, you drop the belly, lift the chin a bit, and you then reverse for your cat, feel the whole sort of rounding of the whole spine. And then you keep moving. Yeah, and your pelvis is moving. You're articulating all of your spine and your shoulders are moving. Feeling the shoulder blades spread apart. And you're moving on your breath. Moving on your breath. And so it's an inhale and it's an exhale. Steady in and steady out. You got it. Nice. And then very slowly right here, you'll pause. So still your movement and touch your left toes back behind you. The left toes go back. Nice, right here, left toes go back. You'll drop the heel down, spin the right shin out to the side and pick up your left hand. And so friends here in the park are gonna face the fields. The left arm goes up. And listen, if you need a little bit of support underneath your bottom hand, you can put the block there. That might help you. Yes, so great. So great, beautiful. Stay right there. And now take your top arm and reach towards me or towards the front of your mat. So you're gonna reach, and spin your palms down. Yes. Reach. And remember those circles, you're gonna do it again. So circle your top arm. It's gonna go around. Big circles with your top arm. Nice. Beautiful. Another breath right here. And then very slowly, you'll look down and return your top arm, your left hand to the mat, return your left knee to the mat. Stay here. And let's take a child's pose. And so your knees will go a little wider and sit your hips back. Now this might be where you stop right here. You're a little bit lifted, a little bit higher up. But if you want, like Arnaldo, to bring your belly and chest and head to the ground, you can. You can also stay a little bit more lifted. Nice. Let's get ourselves set up for the second side. So lift up onto all fours. That's your tabletop, palms and knees. And step your right toes back behind you, because that's the other leg. And then you'll pivot that foot down, spin the shin, the opposite shin out, and then pick up your right arm. And so now you're facing the opposite direction right here. Yes, the right arm goes up, up, up. You got it. And then reach your top arm towards the front of your mat. So you're going to reach towards the field. And then take your circles again, big old wide circles with the arm. Nice. Yeah. And notice if there's any tension that's coming up, you might relieve the tension by bending the elbow a bit, or you might relieve the tension by stopping. Like if it hurts, just stop. And then very slowly lower the hand, deliver it to the ground, bring your knee down, child's pose, last time like this. And so child's pose here on this round, you might take the hands back towards the feet and kind of settle in. Yeah, that's it, Carol. Yeah, you can, if that feels okay on your head, but that might soften the shoulders a bit. Now, if child's pose doesn't feel good, you make another choice, which could look like sitting up or back onto all fours. You make a choice here. Okay, let's very slowly lift back up to all fours, tabletop. You got it. And then from here, again, you might have to walk the knees back slightly if you need some landing space in front of you. Let's get the hands to come out towards the front edge of your mat. And we'll call this our puppy pose. And so the belly starts to drop. The head hangs down just a bit. The ears are somewhere near your biceps. And I want you to push down into the hands, hug the arm bones in towards each other. So there's energy there. So this is your dog prep, your dog prep. The arm bones are lifted. The elbows are off the ground. If that's, yeah, if you can manage that. Can you get your arms about shoulder width apart? Yeah, separate your hands is super beautiful. You got it. You got it. You can even go wider. Yeah, nice. Okay, from the belly, you'll lift up and start to walk the hands back, back, back. Nice. And from here, directly, we'll step one foot to the mat and then the other foot to the mat, because we're going to stay in a forward fold. So you've just sort of stepped up so you can hang your body over your legs. You got it. You got it. And you might let your head hang here. And if you're hanging in a way where not really touching anything, you might use a block to rest your fingers on. Yeah, you're good there. And you can grab your elbows maybe and start to swing a bit side to side. You might let your head hang and shake a bit, yes and no. You might soften the knees, particularly if you're feeling tight in the backs of the legs. That'll support this shape, yeah. Yeah, really nice. And then very slowly you'll rise up to stand. And so you can let the hands hang and drip down. You can roll up, let the head sort of be the last thing that arrives. And then you'll arrive here in your mountain pose. And yeah, if you feel like you were stepped really wide, you might step your feet back together, or you might need to widen your stance, really in a way that you feel the most supported. You feel super grounded, even weight down in both of your feet. Yeah. Yeah. And then you'll lift the arms up, breathe in, lift up. And then again, you'll notice, like, if you start to lift the hands up over your head and you get like this, then maybe you go a little wider, right? Because you want this beautiful integrity from the hips, through the armpits, up through the elbows and the ring fingers. So you've got this like really nice length here. Yeah, and so it might be here or it might be wider. Doesn't matter. Either way is beautiful. And then you'll bend your elbows and touch your hands to your shoulders. Yeah, you're like, where are my shoulders? There they are. I know. And then make circles with your elbows. I was teaching this class this whole week and I kept saying, touch your fingers to your elbows, but you can't really do that unless you go opposite, right? So then start to make circles. And then again, notice if you've clenched your jaw, because you might. If you want to go smaller, tiny circles, you can. If you want to go real big circles, you can do that too. And then you'll go the other way. You go the other way. And you start to build a little heat. This starts to get a little intense. Because I've been doing it all week, but you'll start to feel something in the shoulders. Nice. And then very slowly, let that go. Let the arms come down by your side and feel what you feel. Whew. You might need more breath to that space. Breathe in right there. Let's inhale and swing the arms up. And again, the arms can reach wide. They could certainly touch fingertips overhead. As you exhale, let your knees soften, look down and fold your body back in half. Your upper body will fold. You can touch down towards the ground or towards the block or the feet. And then breathe in, look slightly forward, let your fingers come to your shin bones. You might lift your chest a bit and gaze slightly ahead. Beautiful, yeah. And then exhale, lower down again. Your body lowers down. Now, soften your knees so much that you can put your hands to the mat and you'll step back to all fours. So that's your tabletop position. Yeah, you got it. Nice. And then from here, you come to plank pose, meaning let one leg go back behind you, tuck the toes under, pick up the knee. Yeah, that's it, plank. As if you were going into a push-up, but you got stuck at the top. Yeah, you got it. And now remember, all fours, or even in all three, I'll call this all threes. Like if you want to hold your plank, but you know, there's stuff happening in the shoulders, you can always drop one knee down. So I was doing this week too. You can always kind of almost like a bicycle if you need a little bit of extra support to bring a knee down. So you'll hold your plank just for a moment or two, or an extra breath right here of strength. And then lower your knees to the ground, everybody. Whew. Okay, bring your whole body onto the mat. And so you're gonna lower down onto the mat, all the way down, belly onto the mat. Yeah, you might have to walk the legs slightly back. Beautiful. Yeah, keep the hands where they've landed. They're probably gonna be right at your chest. Pull the elbows back and then very slowly pick up your back, the back of your head, pick up the back of your neck, pick up the back of your heart. Little baby cobra, you got it. Yeah, yeah. And it's low, it's pretty low, you got it. And then exhale, lower down. Okay, slide your elbows and forearms out in front of you. They'll wriggle out in front of you. Land them on the mat and we'll come into Sphinx pose. And so you'll push your elbows and forearms, gorgeous, right on the mat. You want to push down so you can lift through the center of the chest and up through the crown of the head, as if there was a string right on the top of your head that's sort of pulling the spine along. It's a little back bend here. You got it. You got it. And I call this a supported cobra because it is. That's what it translates to. But it's a Sphinx pose. Sometimes we know it as. And then exhale, lower down. Okay. Take a breath here. You might wriggle your hips a bit side to side if you need. Okay, and then let's come up to all fours. So you'll put your hands on the sticky mat, push yourself up, come to all fours. And then again, and we did this earlier, bring your elbows and forearms onto the mat, and this time without the block. And I'm gonna give you two options. So right now, for the most part, we have our arms in like this parallel position. Yeah, you can see your forearms are like the number 11. So that's one way to do this. We're moving into a forearm plank. The other way to do this would be to clap your hands together and interlace your fingers, and then your arms become more like a V. And that really depends on your shoulders, your elbows, truly. Either way is fine. Okay, so here you are. Straighten a leg back behind you, tuck your toes under, pick your knees up, you're in forearm plank. And so Arnaldo has the arms in a parallel shape, but you can also, yeah, you got it, bring the hands together. It's completely your choice. You can also choose to keep a knee down. You can also choose to stay in all fours with both knees down. But notice if you start to sink the center of the chest and you sort of lose your neck and ears, push into the elbows, push into the forearm bones, push into the hands, the wrist creases, you got it. And are you breathing? Don't hold your breath. You're in a forearm plank. I know. What did we sign up for this morning? Another breath in, and then slowly lower the knees down. Okay. And so you might take a child's here, you might sit up for a moment. And sitting up just sort of aligns your energy. If child's pose feels really comfortable and settling for you, then take that. Or you could sit up like me. How you doing? Okay, so now we'll come into our first downward facing dog. I know, we're gonna continue to move. That's gonna get us back into the shoulders. So come to all fours, that's your tabletop. Hands and knees on the mat. And the hands walk slightly out in front of your shoulders, just like a handprint. Toes are tucked. You'll pick up the knees and send the hips back and up. And that, yeah, really nice. Yeah, all right. All right, down dog. Your fingers are spread well. You want to push down and away into the mat. So you're using your strong arms, but then you're also using your strong legs that got you here today to press back towards the parking lot behind you. Notice if you're holding any tension in your head or neck. You might shake your head a bit, yes and no, maybe bubble your lips or even breathe deep in and out. Nice, really nice. And then very slowly, we're going to take a little step. So you can bring your feet to your hands or your hands to your feet or come somewhere in the middle. Yeah, that's it. So you're still in a forward fold. So you kept your body over your legs, you're folded in half. We've been here before. And you'll ground yourself, right? And so you can always have a generous bend in the knees, always have a generous bend in the knees. And then very slowly, let's rise up to stand again. Push into the legs, roll yourself up, arrive in your mountain, so this upright spine, and then we can swing the arms up over the head. Breathe in here. And then on this round, we'll connect our hands together, right and left palm, right at the center of the chest. So bringing everything into the midline. It's equal standing pose, that's what it's called. And if it's not a shape that feels comfortable for you, you can always slide the hands to touch the hearts, right at the heart. It's always an option, but it sort of connects you into your midline. Okay. Inhale, reach up again. This time as you exhale, you'll bend your elbows and they'll look like goalposts. Boop. Yeah, like a cactus. You got it. Yeah. Or Fiddler on the Roof. Right here. Okay, right from here. You'll take the elbows and the forearms back just a bit, and so your heart lifts up a bit, and you kind of feel grounded in the back body. And then as you exhale, you'll pull the elbows and forearms together in front of you. Now they may touch or they may not, right? And so you kind of want to keep your elbows in line with your shoulders. That's going to be intense. So if you need to, you can always drop them. And then you'll do it again. So open up, press forearms back, lift the heart, exhale, bring it all together. And they might touch, they might not. And then do it again. So open up. Yeah, I know there's some machine at the gym that does this. I know there is. I don't go to the gym. Right? You know it. I don't do the gym. Go one more time. So you're using your own resistance here. Exhale, and then you'll take the arms out in front of you and hold where Arnaldo is. Now, he's touching. You might not touch, and that's okay. But if you can you lift the elbows up in line with the shoulders? And you'll hold wherever you are. You'll hold wherever you are. And then we got one more shape. You're going to lift the forearms up a bit as if they're tipping up towards the sky. Ooh, and so the whole back plane of the body anchors you down. Your gaze lifts, your heart lifts up. And then you exhale. Come upright and lower the arms. Notice what you feel. Shake that out a bit. Right, so that mimicked this shape. We were here on the forearms, but then we were here. Okay, let's move a bit. If you were somewhere in the middle of your mat, you'll come towards the front edge of your mat because we're going to do some step backs. Okay, here we go. Soften your knees a bit so you have some buoyancy. Shift your weight into your right leg. And then your gaze is steady out in front of you. That's going to help your balance. Step your left leg back and come into a lunge, meaning your front knee bends, your back heel is lifted, and the arms lift up over your head. Now, if again, bringing the arms over your head feels really counterintuitive to whatever's going on in your shoulders, you can make another choice. The elbows can be bent. You can always bring hands to prayer. So you're in a high lunge here. You breathe in. And then again, touch your shoulders. Yeah, make your circles. Steady your gaze. And so now you're working your legs a little bit. You might feel some energy in the front of your left hip. You're working your shoulders. You got it. Breathe in. Breathe out. And then you'll reach the arms up over your head. This shape turns into warrior two. And so from here, pivot your back heel down. Your body will face the fields and your arms will open wide. Your gaze can be at the trees. Yeah, that's it. Warrior two, you got it. Front knee, beautiful. Front knee bends. Nice. Can't get you out of the sun, Arnaldo. You're always going to be in the sun. Oh, Des is in the sun too. All right. From here, straighten your front right leg and then reach up and back. And so your top arm lifts back. You're in like a side lean. You got it. Beautiful. Keep your legs as they are, but come upright. Open the arms, reach slightly forward, and tip down. And so you'll touch your thigh, or maybe you go below your knee. Maybe you're at the shin bone, and your top arm reaches up. You got it. You're in triangle. Yeah. Yeah. Really nice. And then on this round, I want you to touch behind your head. So put your top hand right behind your head and lean back just a bit. Lean back just a bit. Notice what you feel in the shoulder, back of the neck. You got it. Good. Okay, release that. Reach the arm. Whoa. Come on up to stand and lower the arms down. Okay, so now all of your toes are going to face the side. So you'll sort of swivel on your heel to face all 10 toes towards the wide side of your mat. Bring your hands to your hips. Give yourself a breath. It's going to take us into a forward fold. And so you'll soften your knees a bit and hang your body down. Now, if the floor is really far away, you can grab that block that you had at the front of your mat and take it with you and hold on to it. Yeah, you got it. I like this song. Okay. From here, you'll lift your chest, straighten the arms a bit, keep your fingers towards the ground. Now we're going to do some other twisting here. And so you'll leave your, let's say, leave your left hand on the ground, leave your left hand down on the ground. You might use a block under your hand. Turn your body towards the front edge of your mat, so towards the right, and place your other hand on your hip, your low back. You got it, you got it. My friend, I'm so sorry, I don't know your name back here. Switch your hands. You'll switch your hands. You got it, yeah. And then from here, if it feels okay on your shoulder, right arm goes up to the sky. Yeah, yeah, that's it, oh, okay. Oh, and then your hips kind of go with it. So your left hip's going to swing a little bit to help to support this shape. It's an open twist. Nice. And then very slowly let that go. So come on down. Push into the legs, rise up to stand. Nice and slow, nice and slow, nice and slow. Beautiful. We'll do the other side on the other side. Yeah. Okay. Let's go back to where we were. Swivel your right toes forward. So it's like a pip. Yeah, to the front of your mat. Bend your knee, warrior two. You got it. Flip your right palm up and give me the peace fingers as you go up and back for peaceful warrior. So the Shanti or peaceful warrior here. Reverse, go the other way, Leslie. Yeah, you lean back, you lean back, you lean back. And then as you exhale, I want you to cartwheel the hands all the way to the ground. Can you bring them to surround your front foot? Come into a lunge so your back heel is lifted. You got it, you got it. You're all the way at the front of your mat. And then you'll step forward. So you might need a block to support this transition. You could put your hand on a block or two and step your back foot up to your right. And hey, we're at the front of the mat again. You're in a forward fold. Uh-oh. And you breathe. And then you rise up to stand, nice and slow. Okay, yeah. And you could face forward. Leslie, you could turn around and face forward. And so we're here at the front of the mat. Remember this whole thing? We're gonna do that again with the elbows and add on a bit. So as you inhale, reach up. As you exhale, cactus your elbows like goalposts. You got it. Breathe, open the chest so the elbows pull back. Exhale and curl in. And you might even draw the belly in and feel the back body spread a bit. And then do it again. Open. Exhale and you close them and you might keep the elbows lifted. Go one more time, lift and open. Nice. And this time as you exhale, you're going to give yourself a hug. And so let's rock the right over the left and kind of roll yourself in. Yeah. It doesn't really matter which arm over. You got it. Okay, so this is our eagle prep. You can stay right here. If you're feeling comfortable in your arms, your shoulders, you might take the forearms to connect the backs of your fingers. So you're a little bit wound up here, like your bicep and tricep are touching. You got it. Yeah, really nice. You get all wound up, but if that starts to feel crunchy in your neck, your face, or your heart, right? If there's any indication that your heart is like really kind of squeezing together, stay in the hug. It's a softer space. Breathe in. And then very gently and slowly open the arms, let that go. Okay, great. Let's bend into the knees a bit. So we'll take those standing shapes on the other side. Knees are bent, arms are down. Shift your weight to your left foot, the other one, and step the right leg back. You're in a lunge, so the front knee is bent and the arms can swing up. If you feel comfortable, the arms swing up. Yeah, you got it. Really nice. And last time like this, touch your shoulders, make your circles, make your circles. And maybe you've been going the same way on all sides, so maybe you go the other way. Just notice which side. You got it. Great, let the arms reach up, breathe in, and then we'll transition this to warrior two. And so your back foot pivots down, open the chest, open the arms, reach towards the, yeah, you'll switch. Reach towards the front of your mat, beautiful. Warrior two, you got it. Yeah, and stay really upright. So your spine is really upright. And then you'll straighten your front leg. Lift your left arm up and lean back, lean back, lean back. So this is your reverse triangle. Yeah. So you're kind of working to feel the whole side of your waist here. And you could put your right hand on your hip. That sometimes supports the shape a bit, like just to kind of anchor you. And then you come up to stand. Arms continue to go wide, reach forward. You got it, and take the hand down. So it could touch the thigh, could touch below the knee. I'd say below the knee so you're not pushing on the knee, right at the top of the shin bone. And then you go up. Yeah, beautiful, you're in triangle pose. And then you stay and breathe. And this time, touch the back of your head. So you're here, you might touch the back of your head just a bit. Press the head back into the hand. We did this on the first side. Okay, let your head go, the arm comes up, and then you'll rise to stand and lower the arms. Whew. Okay, and now your left toes, swivel them in. So all 10 toes face the wide edge of your mat. Hands can come to your hips. I'm gonna offer this shape if you want. You could swing the arms back behind you and interlace your fingers. You might straighten the arms here. Ooh, see what that feels like, but we'll fold. And so you'll take your body down over your legs. And now you might keep your hands directly on your low back. If you want, you could stretch them off of your back and reach the knuckles up. But if none of this feels good, go back to the hands down, right? You can always choose another shape and bring your hands to the ground. Yeah, really nice. Yeah, it's your choice how you want to put your arms. Okay, and now if you had your hands interlaced, you'll gently, slowly lower them, unlace the hands, and bring them towards the ground. You can also use a block here. Okay, so here's the other side. So now the right hand stays connected to the ground. Turn your body, your belly to the left, and put your left hand on your sacrum. So you're looking at the trees. You got it. Yes, you got it. Now you might stay right here and kind of work and shrug the shoulders almost sort of away from each other. Yeah. Or reach the top arm up, maybe. Yeah, nice. Yeah, one side's gonna feel different. We're weirdly asymmetrical, weirdly. So it's gonna feel different. Maybe there's an injury on one side versus another side. Yeah, really nice. Beautiful. And this is open. So your right hip is gonna come with you. Like you want you to swing it around. It's gonna swing around, the whole belly opens here. And then very gently, slowly come out, lower the arm. Whew. Look slightly forward. You might bend your knees here. Bring yourself back up to stand. So you're going to rise upright in your spine. And then we come back to where we were. So your front foot, that's your left one, I think. Swivel your heel and turn your toes. Bend your knee, warrior two. Back to where we started. You got it. Flip your left palm up. Peace fingers go up to the sky as you lean back. It's your peaceful warrior. Yeah, you got it. Then as you exhale, you'll deliver your hands to the ground. And so one comes down, the other comes down. You're in a lunge facing the front edge of your mat. And then you step forward. So your back foot's gonna come up and step to your front. And we're back hanging down here. Beautiful. rise up to stand your way up. You might come up with a flat back, or you might roll on up. The arms can swing up. And then we'll reconnect right at our center. Remember that equal standing pose one more time. So it might come to palm, or you might sort of rest your hands at your heart, your choice. Because we have the other side on ego, right? Yeah. All right, so lower your arms down, shake that out. One more little standing thing here for your shoulders. You'll inhale, reach the arms up. And then exhale, you'll bend the elbows. We go cactus again, remember? The gym machine. Open the chest here, pull the elbows towards each other. And then exhale, curl in. You got it, go 2 more just like that. Open up. Exhale and curl in. Go 1 more time, open. And on this round, as you exhale and curl in, you'll cross your arms, give yourself a hug. And just notice that it's the other elbow on top, probably left one on top. Yeah, I know. I know. Sometimes I don't like to cue rights and lefts because it sometimes is disorienting. You're here, so you've hugged yourself. And you could stay here, maybe even tuck your chin a bit. Your other option is to take those funky arms. You'll swing the forearms up and like the backs of the hands can touch. And it starts to build this energy and tension in the shoulders. So if you notice that becomes too tense, soften into a hug, particularly if your heart, just for your heart. You hear another breath. Make sure your jaw is soft as well, your forehead, your space between your eyebrows, and then very slowly you'll let that go and bring the arms down. Whew. Yeah, feel what you feel. Oh boy. And like that release of energy and tension always feels good too, because you kind of feel it in your fingers. Okay. I think extravaganza is going to be dolphin, right? Don't you think? It's going to be great. Inhale, reach up. Exhale and take your forward fold, which you were already in sort of. Look forward, breathe here. And as you exhale, you'll soften your knees so you can put your hands to the sticky mat and either step to all fours or plank pose. So you have a choice. Your legs are going to go back and you might go to all fours to get you into plank or step directly to a plank. Yeah, you got it. Beautiful. Now your plank will turn into your downward facing dog. And so the hips start to lift, the belly and the chest drop. Yeah, down dog. Really nice. Really nice. Notice what you feel here in your dog. Strong arms, strong legs, soft breath. In, steady out. Give yourself another round of breath in your dog. And then guess what? You get a plank again. So roll forward to your plank pose. Yeah, you can reorganize. You might have to step your feet back or to take the knees down and reorganize. You're back in that push-up shape. Really good. Can you hold that? Head is in line with your spine. So you might have dropped your head down because that's typically what happens. Keep your head in line with your spine. You have another breath here. And then let's touch the knees to the ground. Come all the way onto the mat. So bring your upper body down onto your belly. You got it. Slide the elbows and forearms out in front of you. Remember our Sphinx pose or our supported cobra. And then you'll push down to lift the center of the chest, lift the crown of the head. You're in this supported cobra or Sphinx. And the outer shoulders, they sort of wrap back. Yeah, you can extend out. Your whole body's on the ground. You got it. Yeah. And it's a little back bend. It's more of like an upper back bend. But so you still want to kind of draw the navel in towards the spine to protect the back. And almost you kind of have to press the front edge of your pelvis down onto the mat a bit to protect your low back. It lengthens there. Okay, and then exhale, lower down. So the elbows come out. You can stack your hands like a pillow and put your head down on your own hands. If you don't like that, you might rest your chin on your fists. Just keep your head off the mat. That's cool. Yeah, you got it. And then let's come back to all fours. So you push your hands onto the mat and lift your hips. You might give yourself a few rounds of cat-cow. Remember those cat-cow shapes we took really early on for the hips, the pelvis, the shoulders. You might even swing the hips around just a bit. Okay, and so here we go. And we were sort of already in this shape earlier. You'll bring your elbows and forearms back down to the mat. And now you have a choice to keep your hands separated, so everything sort of looks parallel like railroad tracks, or clap your hands together and interlace your fingers. So that's your other option. It just feels different. So set up your forearms as you want them to be. And then you'll tuck your toes under, the knees walk back slightly, and then here we go. This time, push off the ground, lift your knees. Now you can stay here. This is where we were earlier. Push down into the elbows so the chest lifts, or you might start to straighten the legs and tiptoe the toes and closer to your elbows. You're in a dolphin pose. Oh boy, yes, yeah, you got it. At any point, you can lower the knees down. Notice what's happening in your shoulders, because there's something happening in your shoulders. Maybe different for everybody. Maybe there's nothing, and that's cool too. You can always bring your knees down. You can also come to regular dog. That's a really great choice. If you're like, nah, this isn't really working for me, your regular down dog can work. You're in another breath. Yeah, really nice. Okay, very slowly, let's all come to child's pose. And so the knees touch the ground, you send your hips back, and you rest. Now, if child's is not a rest, you might sit upright like me. You have a choice. Give yourself a steady breath in and a steady breath out. Even a sigh here, let it go. And so right from here, let's sit up and then come directly onto your back. So you'll bring your hips down. You can swing your legs out to the side in front of you, and make sure you have space behind you. I don't want your head in the grass unless you want your head in the grass. And lay down. I mean, you can. Yeah. And your knees are bent directly. You could put your feet on the ground. Beautiful. So we'll set up for, yeah, you're good. And the arms can come down by your side if that feels comfortable for you. So we're going to play into bridge pose. We did sort of all this like upper back bending stuff. I think bridge is a great way to explore that again. The arms are by your side. Keep your head and shoulders down and try not to look around, right? Your gaze can be right up to the sky. Also, you can close your eyes if that works too. And your feet are about sitting bone distance apart. They could be wider for support though. Toes will face forward, and then you'll push into the heels, push into the head, the backs of the shoulders to lift your hips. And so the butt comes off the ground. Your arms press down into the earth. You might even need to wriggle your outer shoulders underneath you. There's a sort of wrapping or wriggling that happens with the outer shoulders. And you might clasp your hands. You might feel your hands underneath your body and they're there. You can clasp them under, like back behind your butt. Yeah, there you go. If you want to sort of push those interlaced hands into the ground, that's an option that becomes a little bit intense on the outer shoulders. So you're in bridge, using the backs of your legs, breathing and opening front of your body without clenching your jaw. You might push into the heels of your feet just a little bit to lift the hips just another like centimeter higher. And keep the upper chest lifting up to the chin. You got it, really nice. And then very slowly unlace your fingers and let your hips lower, lower, lower to the ground. And then take your feet slightly wider apart. So they can widen, and then you'll sort of windshield wiper the knees side to side, like a tick-tock of the knees side to side. Yeah. Yeah, and so they'll each go like windshield wiper to the right and windshield wiper to the left. You'll kind of end up in some twisty shapes here. The arms can go overhead. They can stay by your side. If you don't want to put your arms in the grass, you can always bend your elbows. And then you'll pause and hug your knees into your chest. Yeah, you kind of give yourself a squeeze here. And then you can grab for whatever you can grab, the knees, the shin bones, you might touch the backs of your legs. And this can turn into some rocking. If rocking side to side feels good for you, you can do that. And then this will turn into any final movements. Meaning you might stretch the legs up. Yeah, happy baby look can work. You might kind of kick your legs around a bit if you want to stretch the backs of your legs. You can bend your knees and grab for the outer feet. Yeah, even a butterfly shape right here on the back might feel nice if you're touching the bottoms of your feet together. And then this movement will then eventually turn into stillness. And so you'll allow your legs to, as you're ready, and if you're still moving, you can still move for sure. But as you're ready, the legs will lower. Now you might keep your knees bent if that feels comfortable on your back. If you can outstretch your legs, you might outstretch your legs. So this is our final pose. It's a final rest. Nothing to do. It's a relaxation pose. And I say this too, if being on your back doesn't really feel the most comfortable, you can always come to your side and take a little side lying pose or even on your belly. You might notice the thoughts that are coming up right here, and that's okay. Our brain is meant to think. That's its job. You might try to refocus. And that focused attention can be on your breath. Sweet breath in and a steady breath out. That point of focus could be on your intention or your dedication from earlier this practice. You might put your focus on the beautiful sounds around us today. And then you allow yourself to rest. Gently guide your attention back to your breath. Giving yourself a deeper breath in and a full breath out. You might make a sweet connection. One hand can touch the navel center, one hand can touch the heart center. As you start to feel your body breathing. And then you'll allow that breath to start to move your body slowly. You can wriggle through your toes, your fingers. You might even stretch your arms over your head for a full body stretch, as if you were waking up from a deep sleep. And then slowly here, the knees bend, you touch the feet to the ground. You can choose if you want to press yourself directly forward and up, or you might roll over to one side for a moment, sort of rest on your side in a little fetal position for a moment. And then very slowly, you'll bring yourself back upright, meaning in an upright seat. Your legs can be in any shape, They can cross, they can open wide. As long as you feel steady down into the hips with a lift through the heart, upright through the spine. And then allow your hands to connect into your center, which sort of aligns your intention back into your heart. And that might be one hand or two. That might be together. And as we started, you'll hear one sound of Om. It's a way that we sort of link this practice and align the intentions for today. And so together we breathe in. The divine light in me bows to and honors the divine lights in each and every one of you. My friends, thank you for joining here in person and online. Namaste. Thank you. Thanks for coming back.